Is going to the university necessary? Do you have to go to the university in order to become successful? Is it mandatory? Is it something you need to feel educated? Today we're going to dive into it. Was it worth it? If you've not subscribed to the channel already, kindly do so. It helps a lot. Thank you. Is going to the university necessary? In this day and age, not really. Not at all, unless you are very certain of what you want to do. And if that has something to do with the university, okay. You must be really careful because going to the university is not cheap. It's really expensive. And by making the wrong decisions, something that you thought you wanted and then you end up changing your mind, it's going to cost you a lot of pain that is going to stick with you for a long time, especially if you take on student loans or if you become unemployed or getting paid the amount that you do not deserve. So you must be really careful with regards to what you want to study in school. Do you really need it before you make that decision? Let's look at some scenarios with regards to when you may need the university and when you actually don't. One thing I've noticed is most people go to the university in Africa without looking at the economy. Like, there is not a lot of jobs. So we need more entrepreneurs. If you're coming from a family that isn't rich, but an African will take their kids to school, they will find a way to take their kids to school. But when they finish and they're sitting home, they cannot find the money to support them to start their business. If you don't want to become a doctor, you're in dental, engineering field, being an architect, because some of this stuff you need the university to get your certification. And of course, I do not want somebody who went to YouTube University come and perform operation on me, or somebody cleaning my teeth who was educated on YouTube. You definitely don't want that. So college is definitely necessary for certain professions, right? If you're an architect, you cannot get your certification unless you went to college. So you must look at the economy that you're in, the country that you're in, and then pick accordingly. You can't go to school for liberal art in Ghana. Why? If you like art, you might want to go to school for something like an architect, because you can draw, you have that creative mind, and you can actually make a living, and then you still have that skill of drawing on the side, and you could do it as a hobby. We must think before we go and commit to something for 4 years. There is something known as opportunity cost. When you're in college, you actually lose money by not working. You are losing money being in college. That's known as opportunity cost, because that 4 years, you could have used it to make a lot of money. It does not take that long to make a lot of money. The people who know how to make money, your life will change in a year. Time is money. When you invest that 4 years, it's money and time. Let's look at my situation. Luckily, I did not go into student loan debts, but I hold a master's degree in accounting. Was it worth it? And the answer is a big no for me. But luckily, I joined the military before I went to school. So I knew I wanted to become an accountant, but we grow and we evolve, right? So later on, while I was in school, I knew that I was not going to be an accountant. I knew, as a matter of fact, I knew that I didn't want to do anything traditional. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And being an entrepreneur, you do not, especially if you are born with it, you do not need university for that. If you're not, you're trying to learn, then people get MBA and all that stuff, which is good. An MBA is really not for something extraordinary that you learn in the school. It's more of the connection that people you meet, like-minded people. That's why most people pay a lot of money to go to Harvard. It's not that they're teaching them something extraordinary. It's the people that you're going to meet. You guys could start businesses together. That's also something we lack in Africa. Before you go to college, if you are that 17-year-old kid watching this, 18-year-old kid watching this, I want you to really sit down. That's something we'd never do. I want you to sit down and know exactly why you want to go to college. What do you want to study in college? Do I need college in order to do it? What's my plan B if I happen to not like it? Because you really don't know until you start working, or while you're in school, you might find something else that will interest you. And college kind of ties you down to one field. If you change your mind, it becomes increasingly difficult, especially if you were in America and you took on student loan debt. Now you're going to have to go do something that has nothing to do with what you went into debt for. It makes no sense. So you must be really sure. I love my parents. I really do. So grateful for them. But you must be really sure that what you are studying is what you want. I have a friend who's a doctor, and he was miserable, and he did it for his parents. So he quit. He was 35 when he said, I don't want to become a doctor anymore. Some people love being a doctor. You have to know yourself and know what you want to do. It's really important before you make that huge commitment. We need doctors, we need architects, we need certain professions. And those professions, you have to go to school. And it's not benefiting anyone if you're doing something that you hate. You might kill somebody on the operation table because you are miserable. So do what makes you happy. It wasn't worth it for me because along the way, I knew that I was not going to become an accountant long term. Along the way, I knew. But I was getting paid. This is the difference between me and average Joe. I was getting paid to be in school. School was for free for me, and I was getting paid, something known as job bill in the military. And I knew this. That's why I didn't go to college right away. I knew this. I wanted to beat the American system. and not be in student loan debt. So I was getting paid. I made my money while I was in college. I built my house while I was in college because I was making money in college. It was not an opportunity cost for me. And I was an accountant for the school. I was working while I was in the school. I used to do my homework there. You have to be smart. I did not need college to do what I'm doing now, but I did learn some stuff from accounting, but I didn't need college for that. Like balance sheet, income statement, all that stuff, I could have learned it on YouTube. Or I could have learned it from all these books that I was reading later on. This is the same stuff there, so you could learn. If you can read and write, you have to be disciplined. You cannot not go to college and make it without being disciplined. You have to be self-accountable and steady. Read on your own, go on YouTube, have your own schedule of studying and being really busy for what you want to do. You have to be dived in. If not, you're going to end up living a mediocre life, and college should be for you. If you're not disciplined and you're just not built for that, you should find something in college that will give you what to do. Some people they can't be self-accountable. They're not disciplined and they're just not built that way. You can learn, but some people they're never going to do it. So if that's the case, go to school, whatever. But I also noticed that college is full of shit. I noticed that because I was holding a master's degree. Now I started off with $65,000 at a big four accounting firm. And in the long run, like 5 years from now, you're going to be making $200,000 or something in New York. But if you're an employee, $200,000 in New York is nothing. They're going to tax the hell out of it. By the time you're done, I'm going to walk home with like $120,000. I know people who are driving Uber in New York making, that amount. You really have to know what you're doing. You have to know how that's going to benefit you, the passion that you have for it. It has to make sense to you. You have to really evaluate it. College makes sense in certain situations. Certain situations, it just does not make sense. So, me personally, college wasn't worth it for me. I did 4 years in college, both undergrad and masters. But luckily, I have no student loans there. I was getting paid while I was in school. I was making money while I was in school. School was money for me. But the average Joe got student loans to go, or their parents struggle to give you that money to go. I'm not using it. I'm doing something totally different. If stuff hits the fan or whatever, is it useful? It could be useful. You work for a while, and yes, CPA accountants are one of the highest paying jobs in the world. But I just wanted something different. That's what I'm saying. You have to know if this is what you want. Because I know people personally, doctors, who went to school to become doctors because of their parents, and they don't want to be doctors anymore. Wasted all these years as student loans possibly. Respect your parents and keep it real with them. And African parents, please try to understand your kids, because you can thrive in any field. When Bill Gates was leaving college, imagine telling your African parents this. You probably get slapped like 2, 3, 4 times. He left college and he built Microsoft. Mark Zuckerberg left college. You don't need college. College is a beautiful thing. You meet some interesting people and all that. So if you have the money, your parents have money, you could look at it as that you could go to college and that's not what you need. Meet some cool people and all that. What's bothering me in Africa is most of these people go to college. The parents struggle to pay for the college, and then the kids come home. They study something like business administration. You need to look at the economy that you're in and pick accordingly. If you're in Ghana nursing, you're going to get a job for sure. There's a lot of nurses in Ghana actually, because they know you're going to get a job. Hospitals need nurses. Architect, because Ghana is a developing country. Whole bunch of buildings coming up and all that. If you're an architect, you're going to get a job. Look at your country and see where they need you, and then go to school for that. Because if not, what are you doing? So college serves a purpose, but then YouTube is not necessary, especially now. Before it wasn't necessary, but now it's really not necessary. Unless you know what you want to do, and it requires you to go to college to learn. Like a doctor, like I said, YouTube University. I don't want any doctor with YouTube University degree. Nope. You into dental stuff? Nope. You got to go to school. Architects, you got to go to school because you need the certification. A whole bunch of stuff. You need the certifications for it, so you got to go to school. But business administration, come on. Business administration. You can learn that on YouTube. When I started KPMG, nothing I learned in school applied to the job. They have to teach me everything from scratch. But the terms, you already know the terms. I think that's what college is trying to do. Just get you familiarized with the terms. So when they say income statement, check this, revenue, all that. It's nothing crazy to you because you know what it is. But the application of it, nothing. If I walked out of college and I wanted to start from scratch, nothing that I learned in college was beneficial to me. It's just the terms. So when I started educating myself on the stock market, the terms really helped me out. When I look at an income statement, I'm like, okay, I'm already familiar to this, that. It helped me out. It was a huge jump start. But did I have to do that for 4 years to learn this? No. I could have used 2 months to learn all of this on YouTube. University is necessary in certain situations, and then it's not in certain situations. And you do not need it to be successful. You don't. And you must be crystal clear and be sure of what you want to do with your life before you make that huge commitment with opportunity cost and the money that comes with it. This concludes the message that I have for you guys today. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, kindly do so. Like this video as it helps with the algorithm, and please comment. Let me know what you think, and until next time, my friends, be legendary. Peace.